Test, test, test. Read the disclosure. This is Sunday, 3:34. Having some fun. Let's check out the charts. Oh, and there's the chart right in. That's pretty cool. Right in the virtual trading floor. So now they get to see the charts also and listen to me. If
Yep.
okay, that's cool. And then here's the cues. Here's here's the cues next. All right. So right now it could be on a link live on Red All Access, and it's also right now in the virtual trading floor for whoever was in there, if anybody was in there.
Yep. Just when you start here, obviously make sure you click the mic, the unmute for the mic, and then you'll be good.
So, it says nobody speaking, so I go here.
Yep.
Test, test, hello, hello, test, test.
Yep. Sounds good.
Okay. All right. So all right, great. So that's right there. Actually, after you leave, I'm gonna do a little video, just to catch up a little bit. I'd actually like to do it live, a public one. Maybe you could set me up publicly, and put the link in both spots, and I'll have a little bit of my phone, and I'll just wing it for a little bit.
For now?
Yeah, when we're done playing with the VTF.
Sounds good.
We'll log out of the VTF, and then I want to do like a live YouTube broadcast of Sunday catch up after vacay.
Cool. Sounds good. Yeah, we can send that to Kamo, and I'll put it out as well.
Okay.
That's that.
And then
show your screen sharing through there. You can always turn it off and on as need be.
So does David Prince have his own room yet?
His own room or account, you mean?
And no, well, they were trying to put together a room for him.
Oh, I'm unaware of anything about that. I didn't hear anything about that, so it sounds like an adult thing. So.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll let you know if I do hear anything about that.
Okay. All right, that's fine. All right, so now and I have to type here. I have to click here and say test.
Yep. And if you want to do an alert, right, you would have to go to the bottom part here, post alert.
Post alert and say, watch Amazon versus post earnings low. And then I have to send alert. And then where does that go?
And then it's right here in the alerts. Everyone sees it. Everyone gets a notification from it.
Oh, and that gets.
Yeah, they all get a sound notification as well, and a push notification on their computer. And also, if you ever wanted to post your charts, you can just upload your charts here.
So after I do all the charts that I post on, Red All Access and everything, I could post a chart, and then they'll go and let's see, where would it be seen? Let's post.
Yeah, go ahead. You just click choose a file.
Click choose a file, and then go. Just say. Just say let's choose what word? UPS. And say and then you put an alert on there also. Okay. Say this triggered and then they would click on. Oh, much better. Okay.
Right? Isn't that great?
Yeah. What it does is, I could leverage a lot of the things that I'm doing. Like, if I'm doing 15 charts, I could also put the charts on the VTF versus just talking about it. And they definitely would love to see the charts.
Exactly. It's great. There's also different tabs. So if you're ever having an issue, you can feel free to obviously reach out to me. But if you go to the admins tab, you can also send requests in there and questions.
Right. I feel like tomorrow morning, hopefully, if you could be up, I don't know what time you get up, but be up somewhat early,
Yeah, usually I'm up around 7.
Maybe tomorrow, 6:30, if possible. Hey, what's up? Can you guys hear me right now on the VTF? Some guys are logging in. Yo, 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 can you guys hear? What's up? What's up, JFP? Oh, we got nice. All right, I just came in Sunday. I came in, the VTF 2.0 is up and running, so I just wanted to, be able to log in, do the video, do all my admin, and know how to do it because tomorrow will probably be a busy day of me catching up. What up, guys? What up, Naveen? What up, Rapsy? Wow, a lot of guys at home. What are you guys doing home at 3:40 on a Sunday? Come on, get outside. There we go. Can you guys see the chart of the Qs right there up on the screen? Is it screening through? Yes? Wow, that's pretty cool. So you can see how pretty much, I guess after I left, we held the 21 day after that one little down day. I think that was the day before. And then you can see a chart of the S&P cash, which also has a pretty big channel, broke a little bit right here. And then, held the 21 day. I remember when I was away out in Montauk, I'm like, as long as we hold 3190 to 3200, you can't get too bearish, and it pretty much held. Hey, DP, what's going on? You got your big stockers. You guys should be out at boozy brunches. Oh, the boozy brunches were 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Yes, they held all week, and then you had a lot of like individual stock stuff. This is cool. Let's see how it updates so I can see the last one. Anyone else around? It looked like obviously Apple had the biggest pro gap. Wow, look at that. Boom. That's what happens when you do a 4-for-1 stock split. Nobody wants to be short your stock anymore. Wow, what a nice move. Yes, it did. Now, can you guys see that? Could you guys see the Apple like pretty loud and clear? Wow, look at that. Remember we were buying it on that Friday right before I left for vacation? Buying it in here. I think I made like peanuts on it and then boom. Yeah, very cool. Well, I didn't for earnings I didn't play Apple, but for the week it worked out well. Amazon, was a little wishy-washy, a big difference between Apple's candle and Amazon's candle. So we'll figure out some way to play Amazon. We'll either play it versus, the post earnings low, depending on what that is. Well, we know what it is, or how we open tomorrow. Facebook was actually pretty solid. Oh, look at that. Came right across the prior highs and held it. So Facebook has a big post-earnings gap, which we'll see if we can be long versus that. That call spread worked out very well. Oh, so now you guys have the charts. I can even do the work right with you guys. That's great. Yeah. I know DP, you said it. I said all week. I'm like, DP, what earnings are you doing? What earnings are you doing? And he's like, the only thing I like is Facebook. You like the other things, obviously, but Facebook better than Google, which wasn't good. And Amazon worked a little bit. Where Amazon was not great, to be honest. But it was just fine. Can't complain with it. And now we'll see. Does this hold? Whatever this is, 249. You could buy versus 249, and then at some point it hangs out long enough. If it does, and then it takes out the high. You can put this here now, and you can knock down this wall, knock down that wall, 255.85, put 256, buy versus 249, let it sit, and add if it gets above 256 if the market's going to be strong. Uh-oh, what happened? Don't be fighting with Samuel. No, he never. I asked him offline. Worked out really well. Doing the 240, 250 call spread. Could have just sat on it on Friday, and I managed it and lost a little bit by managing it just because I wasn't on my desk. Exactly. Plus, it's not your job, DP. You give more than enough, But anyway, everything you do is all good. All right. So anyway, I tried to be, kind of involved while away, while not involved. Every morning I was getting up in Montauk. It was like, what time was it? It was like 6:20 because also I had my dog there. So Cadence was sleeping in our room upstairs. We had a 6-bedroom house for 2 families, so the Cadence had to be upstairs. So by 6:15 in the morning, all of a sudden I look across and I hear woo, woo, woo. So I would take Cadence downstairs, let her out in the back, and put some coffee up. Look what same exact process. Look at what's happening overseas. See where the futures are. Do a few tweets, writing down the levels, this and that. Then once I did a bit of that for Rather All Access, then all of a sudden it's 10 to 7. I would jump in my Jeep. I would take Cadence and we'd go to the beach. Dogs were out on the beach till 9 o'clock. Do a little beachy run from 7 to 8, 8 to 15. Go back, stop off at Montauk 7-Eleven, get a big iced coffee and 3 more coffees for the house. But anyway, whatever. Just talking out of my tush. So this is great. I'm glad. I'm glad that it looks like this. If you look in the alerts, just like even like here, remember that? That was friggin' pretty fantastic. That was UPS. UPS paid for every other option play, literally, from 2 to could have been 14 to 16. For me, it was just 2 to 10. But anyway. All right, guys. You guys are too serious on a Sunday. That's it. I'm going to go get a beverage. Everybody get a beverage and shush. Anybody have a Sunday IPA? Can you guys even see? Can you see my video also besides the charts? I don't know. That's it. Oh, you can. All right. Dogfish. Not allowed to speak unless you go get yourself a glass of wine and or a beer. There we go. You know what? I would have done a lot of other things, obviously, last week if I was at my desk and I tried to simplify it because I didn't want to be looking at my phone. I didn't want to. It was hard to get a signal. I didn't want to overly manage it. But I did tell every single person I was with and my wife, I'm like, never ever book vacation on the heart of earnings, the week of earnings. What the hell's the matter? It was my fault. We booked it when back in May or June, I don't even remember, but I would have done so much more. So I do apologize that I wasn't as active. I definitely, once I heard, if I was there and I heard the Apple 4-for-1, I saw it, I just didn't really act on it because I didn't have the option play. I would have been buying it in the first 5-15 minutes and I didn't. I would have also probably bought Tesla, knowing that the whole SpaceX relaunch or whatever, get back to Earth, with the pullback, or at least I would have sold some puts in Tesla. What do I think of Apple? I think that it's strong. I think it's hard. It probably went out strong. I would think that it's going to gap up on what's it called? Tomorrow. We'll see how the futures are. You have a big pro gap, 4-to-1 stock split. I think with the buyback and the dividend, it's like something you got to sit and hold and just hang with. The low here was what? 403. It was one of the few actual stocks on Friday, the earnings ones, that you could have bought in the first half an hour and got paid. You made the earnings low of 403. I remember looking at it because I tried to do that with Amazon. I bought Amazon like it was as high as 32.40 or 32.20, and I kind of managed my call spread. I sold my calls and I bought back some puts when it was like 3,200, 3,205. And so I think the calls were $70 that I bought for 40 something. Anyway, so I was like, oh, now let me buy Amazon versus the morning low. And then I did that at 31.85, and it went back to 3,200, and then it's just weak. And then I moved my stop up to 31.70 and got stopped out. But anyway, depending on how Apple opens, you have a big pro gap. It closed the strongest. The best setup would be if it could hang in here for a little bit for a few days and then take out 425.66. But obviously the way it went out, depending on the futures tonight, it's probably going to be higher. I would assume. I would assume this is going to be, up $3-4 Monday morning with the way it went out. So again, if I was at my desk, I probably would have went with this and could have made really good money. UPS was the best. UPS was fantastic. I got to hand it to, actually, the reason why we were on this, because, a few guys in the chat, who are novices who actually, have friends that work at UPS, no, special information. We're like every day it's like Christmas, or every week in the past month. And then I looked at the chart. He's like, "How would you play that?" I'm like, "Oh wow, that's good to know." I'm like, "You have a huge channel. It's not priced in. You could probably be a buyer 125. It should get to 135 or more." And that's where I went to. I wound up going up to here. I also did not play this one the best. Like, 22 years and you're still learning. I should have had a 125, 135 call spread, but this is when nobody was looking at it. I'm like, 125, 130, it cost $1 to make four. That's 400%. You could buy 100 of them or whatever you want to buy, 50 of them. And PS, I probably should have did the 125, and then here is 135. That if it was going to be that blockbuster, why wouldn't it at least get above this? And it's funny, if you looking sides, it's all symmetrical. That's exactly what it did. Here was the Bible pivot when it clears a channel. Here's your point of reference, and now it's hovering above. What a nice. That paid for everything. All the drips and drabs I lost by trying to be away. This play right there, actually paid for my vacation. Can we touch base every day once for earnings? Yeah, definitely. I don't see why not. I would touch base about everything. Bank of America. Let's see. I haven't looked at it in a bit. It's hanging in there. It's not a blockbuster. It's not something like, if you're holding positions, like, I don't see why you can't be long Bank of America versus 24.19 just to have it on as a trade if the market's going to continue just to go sideways with an upward bias, which is what we have. If you look at the XLF, still has this sideways channel. If we're going to get back to 3,400 in the S&P, not saying we're going to, there's this, you could be a buyer of the XLF versus this low here. If you're looking for something slow to have on, still looks fine. IWM still looks fine. Upper channel kind of looked horrible. I'm sure a lot of guys were short this when it was breaking below this little area, on Friday, but then reclaimed it, which is what we look for, right? Does it get below and stay below, or does it reclaim it? And it's reclaimed it, so this looks constructive. So the small caps and the banks look constructive. It's just not where the action is. Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel like we could all kind of contribute to this week's earnings reports. Like, I was looking at them and I know Twilio I haven't really been playing. Western Digital has numbers. Roku has numbers. Chewy has numbers. Sonos has numbers. So there's a bunch. I don't. For me, I don't need to play all of them because the way the options are priced, if it's not with a perfect pattern, I just force plays on. I don't need to. I only put between $3,000 and $12,000 into these option earnings plays. I try. Because again, to me, I could play them after, and I could play them after hours. I could play them the next day. I could figure it out. So unless I feel like I'm going to miss something, I don't just need to play them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't just need to play like Chewy has numbers. Okay. Wow, Char looks even better. If you're in this and wow, this looks really good actually. Look at that. These numbers better be good. What I don't know, what day does this come out on? Nice. You probably get a little pre-earnings run. This looks really good. Roku, very tight. What day is Roku? This looks pretty good again. Nice bull flag. Looks very well set up. This looks like, if this delivers, this could be a decent spread where you could, buy the 160s, and this is now like negated and it's been far back. This here you have 168, 176. If this delivers, it clears 160. You could be like a 160, 175 call spread. And if this is very, very super duper special, this could be 200. Yeah, FSLI has one. I know that one's been very strong. Yeah, remember when we played it for a short? I think we dissected it. This too, though, this has got to deliver. This has got to deliver. So unless you're really in this thing and you're like, I'm gonna miss it. It's been definitely a very, very, very strong go-to name. Hasn't been one of my listen. At, at the sweetest spots in the market, I feel like I've had 20 plus positions, and I haven't been that much into the SaaS and the software and the I've been with the mega caps, the fangs, and then a few other mid-level trades. But yeah, this looks if it delivers, it delivers. But it's gonna need to be special. I probably won't be trading this, but maybe after hours. Let's see, DBX. That's like kind of a name from the past. DBX. Yeah, this is, see now this is a little bit, this is very tight. This hasn't done anything in a while. This is like one of those kind of like off the bean path type of things. Like this looks interesting to me. This looks like you have like an inverted head and shoulders pattern where you could, draw like this being the left shoulder. Not really, I guess I'm reaching. But anyway, you have a channel here where if it got above and stayed above 2360, or you could even say like you could say 2375. This has a lot of people in there, and it has a big base and it hasn't gone. So this is something that I would be interested in. This is something where you could do a call spread where you could buy the 24s and maybe sell the 28s, so it doesn't cost you as much. What day is what day is this DBX? Yeah, very tight. See, well, this is really cool though. I could put this up and we could talk charts and you could see the charts and we could do a little Q&A a lot. I love this function of the new VTF. It's almost like doing a webinar where we just get to do it every day. August 6th. What's today? Today's the 2nd, so we have a little bit of time. So August 6th is Thursday, so you could buy the Friday options, and there won't be a lot of premium there. So that's not a bad idea. And it might do, maybe even a little pre-earnings run if it gets above here. So, remind me tomorrow. It's something that I would put on. Bet you it's pretty cheap to do like a 24 by 28 options. I would think that, I don't know, that could be good. That could be like $1 to make 3 or 4. Roku is Wednesday. I remember that Roku earnings here. This was a tricky one. Remember we had a really big call spread on, and then you had about 5 minutes to sell up here, and then once it lost this spot here, we had to get the hell out of the way, and then look at that. Whoo! But anyway, it's a new day, new time. But this could be kind of crazy. How's Netflix doing right now anyway? Netflix is kind of like, it's going to be interesting. You have kind of like you have and have-nots now. You could make this bigger. Netflix did get below this 484 but reclaimed it, so this is still acting fine. Kind of don't love Netflix as of now. I feel like, actually, who knows if we get another outbreak in the fall and schools get canceled, everyone's still going to need to be on Netflix. This was the high here, 506. Actually, that's not. This is really cool though. Can you guys like legibly see this on your screen? That's what you guys see? It's pretty clear. All right, that's great. This is what I'm thinking for Tesla too. Wow, I mean, I haven't played Tesla in a bit. Obviously, I had a lot of puts and calls and this and that for earnings. So let's like redo this chart. This chart's got to be redone. It definitely was weaker on Friday. Who knows with the SpaceX, with the good news is centered around it. Just kind of get rid of all these these points of reference for now. I'm sure maybe some people went out short it, because it did close pretty weak while tech was pretty strong. Not me, but right there. Here's this gap. These are the pivots here. So what I was kind of thinking for, as I was, I always think about what to do. Like this, first of all, this kind of like inside wedge now. As of now, I feel like these guys are gonna be trapped on Monday. what I think could be a good thing to do, because listen, everybody, like you saw the Bloomberg article about the S&P 500. Um, he's definitely on the prowl to keep the complexion in. Um, it broke below, where is the 21 day? Where's the 8? What just happened to the 8 day? Where'd my 8 day go? What the hell happened to my 8 day? Indicators. Let's go moving average. Moving averages. Where is multiple simple moving? It'll change. I can go like this, and then go like this. Oh, but we do the, what's it called? SMA. There's that. Anyway, I'm not, not doing everything here. But so I think, guys, let's talk about what do you think with Tesla also. I think obviously the momentum pivot is here now. This is the momentum pivot forever. Some guys are saying that this is the high of Tesla. The high, I doubt it. This low here is 1366. So let's put that in here. So 1366. What I'm kind of thinking is go out 2 weeks, and I'd feel pretty comfortable. What's this? Where's 11? Oops, hold on. Like, what do you think if we went out 2 weeks, we sell the $1,200 puts, because that's actually even below the 50-day. So you sell the $1,200 puts and buy this is 1560, buy like the 1550 calls, and then sell the $1,800 call. So basically we're like buying a call spread with room from 1550 to 1800, and we're kind of funding it a little bit by selling the $1,200 puts. And if for some reason the market gets hit and Tesla gets down to here, you just you'll lose a little bit on the call spread, and the risk is owning Tesla at 1200, which is close to the 50. Actually, it's above the 50. You could even be a little riskier and say this is what you could sell the 1250s. Where did it close? It closed here at 1420. So I'm thinking something like that. But anyway, you guys weren't supposed to be on the virtual trading floor. This was a secret. I was getting in here and I was just trying to check out some charts, see what I missed. It's all good. INSG, we played that once. Yeah, it still looks good. We had this breakout. 5G play. What did Apple say about 5G on the conference call? Because it seemed like on the Qualcomm conference call, people were making it like that, that it was getting pushed out. Sam, you guys short Tesla over the weekend? Anyway, this looks very good. I don't know when earnings are for that one. CRM. Move up. When's earnings for CRM? By the way, Microsoft looks a little wishy-washy. Yeah, actually it's holding here. I feel like I could do this all day. These are all old. You still can't press. Like if you're trying to short things, like I made some money shorting, like I had the SPYs on as a hedge, and I made some, not money, but I did actually make money by every time we were up like $1.50 in the SPYs, I was shorting more and I was covering it flatter down. Every time we were down, I was covering and getting very light on my hedge. And then, and then putting it back. So maneuvering that range in the spies was definitely helpful. Yeah, this is kind of reaching. Really, this is like your line in the sand now with Microsoft, and it held at the end of the day. This is 196-ish. Never got below. Gotcha. Wow, I dropped the ball here a little bit. Look at that. Woo! Anybody hold this to the target area? Jeez. This was the target area that I drew. I didn't keep it. That would have paid for a lot of lobster rolls in Montauk. Instead, I thought I did great buying it at 6.5, selling some above 10.50, and then stopping out at 9.80. Jesus. You know, sometimes I gotta ignore everyone on Twitter. Some people are like, why are you in this JMIA? Why are you in space? Why are you in some of these mid to small caps? Why? Because it technically it looked great, and we knew it, and there's a lot of friggin' volume behind it, and geez, a lot of noise out there. This was fantastic. This was a fantastic trade from here to here, let alone from here to here. Holy cow. Anyway. I heard. DP actually texted me. You know, he said you guys were in that early. I didn't know nobody. I told you guys, I gave you guys my friggin' text. I said, if you see anything and I'm not going to see it and you think it's a great play, text my number. I gave you guys my email and my text. I got nothing from any. No, I'm kidding. You guys aren't. It's not your job. My job is to bring it to you. But you know, I trust you guys. You guys are on the VTF. You know, I fully. You know, you guys know what's happening. So, if you like something, why not? Wow, look at that round trip though. And I'm sure it's going to open down Monday because there was like word out there that Trump, you know, gave a little wink, wink on the actual contract. So maybe, what was his high? It was as high as 56. Jesus. So what's this low here? 1750. Some, you know, from I guess if it opens up between 12 and 17, tomorrow maybe there's a trade there on the buy side. Oh, Candy, that was great too. Candy and JMI, I had that too. And people like, oh, Candy's a scam stock, Red Dog. What's the matter with you? When as high as, look at that. Look at that follow through that it had. Went as high as 1740. Listen, as long as you're on day one on any stock, as long as it has volume, it doesn't really matter. You know, you're playing it with the guys that are trading the volume. Okay. Did I lose Mike? Haraka? Yep. Oh, did you have to? I thought I wasn't sure if you had to go.
I'm good. I just want to make sure you're good to go. I made your video live too, so your YouTube stream's live. I think that's still going. You can end that whenever.
Oh, so where is that going on? My YouTube, it's live right now.
So if you go to XSplit and go to broadcast, you can end it there if you click on the YouTube one again.
No, I'm not gonna end it. So did you post it on Regular All Access and public, or is it both? Or is it, or one?
If I'm public, I couldn't. I need you to send me the code so I can access your Twitter account and I can post it there. But I couldn't do that while you were streaming.
Oh, okay.
Or while you're doing all your stuff, so I can do it right now.
No. It's actually fine. I didn't realize that. I was just talking out loud. So I'll keep talking. Right.
Through too. Everyone got notified on their apps. If they have this set up through their apps too, it notifies them through their phone when you make alerts. So I'm sure everyone saw the alerts and they joined on and wanted to hear what you're saying.
I'm looking at everyone. I'm just sitting here on Sunday having a beer, going through some charts, trying to refigure. I've been gone for a week, so we're doing it together. It's 4 o'clock. You know, I figured, you know, you had a whole weekend. We could look at some charts and get a little bit ready. So I'm just trying to figure out. So Mike, I don't see the link. Did you post a link on my public Twitter also?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to connect to right now. I made it public on YouTube, so everybody can see it on our YouTube account. But for me to access your Twitter, I need you to tell me the number that's gonna.
Why can't you just go to Red Dog T3 and just put the? Oh, yeah, here it is. 377-296. I think you're trying to get it through. Oh,
I'm good.
no. All right, blah blah blah. Now 100 new Red Dog T3s are gonna come out. Jeez.
Yeah, you're gonna get a bunch more now.
All right. So you know what? I'm also gonna go live on Twitter right now. Anyway, why not?
Right.
So you can see it a lot of different ways. You guys still there on Red All Access and VTF? We got everything going on here. Okay, here we go. By the way, I'm starting again because I was just rolling through the process. It's 4/10, August 2nd. Came in because we rolled out the Virtual Trade Floor 2.0. I got to make sure I know how to do the morning call video on there and use all the bells and whistles. And all of a sudden, there are a few hundred traders just looking at charts also. So this is fantastic. Nothing better than traders. And I'm going to go live on Twitter, and we're going to do the same. So I'm going to have the YouTube, and we got to get some music too. Let's put on Alexa. Put on Shawn Mendes Radio. Gotta have something in the background. Okay. A little lower. Alexa, level 3. Can you guys hear that? Peloton, that was a great buy in the hole. Okay, anyway, for those of you who've been listening for a little while, I'm going to backtrack a little. I'm going to roll through one more time. Why not? So here we go. We're going to go live. Let's see if it connects. Do a little roll call. First, let me get out of Wi-Fi because I'm not connected. Candy, wow, that was a big move. Okay, what's happening? Sunday, catch up. Let's see if it connects. DP, you still there? Still connecting. All right, let's try it. Let's do one more time. Oh, here we go. See that AAI? I haven't looked at that stock in a long time. AAOI looks pretty good. Above all the moving averages, nice little bull flag. All right, we gotta, for some reason, doesn't like. All right, we'll see if we can do this one more time. If not, we're just going to continue to go through this. Let's see. AMD. Wow, what a move in AMD. You guys were buying the call spreads out the yin yang before I left. Okay. We're getting set up here. I hope everyone's feeling well. It's 4/13. It is August 2nd. I've been trying to figure out the new virtual trading floor. We're on virtual trading floor 2.0 where I could actually post charts, do live webcams in it, besides doing it online and you know, with alerts. That's, technology is beautiful, even though I'm pretty bad at technology. So I'm just trying to see if I can go live on Twitter also. So this way, you know, we can watch it every different way. But for some reason, it's not connecting me to it because maybe there's too much going on. Anyway, it's not working this way. So if you are watching live on Twitter, hello. I've been gone for a week. I've been to Montauk with the family, having a little bit of fun with a bunch of families out there. The weather was beautiful. Thanks for all the heads up. A lot of guys like, Red Dog, I know you're on vacation, but you should look at this. Hey, Red Dog, I know you're on vacation, but look at that. My guys, I'm on vacation. One thing I learned as a trader is you try not to do too much when you're on vacation because A, your wife gets pissed, B, you're not relaxing, and C, you're not really on vacation. But there's also one thing I learned is that if you have a strong feeling about it with a few things, especially if you could play them where your risk is defined, you better play them because you'll be just as pissed if you didn't play them and they worked. So you might as well play them in a way where risk is defined and you can be involved, but you're not overly involved. And when you have earnings coming out on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you could do call spreads into Friday without a lot of time premium and saying, hey, if it works the way I think it's going to work, you can make your money from your call spreads without having to overly micromanage the positions. You guys follow that? All right, well, we'll get into that. Let me try this one more time. One more time. Let's see if I can get it. I wanted to, for some reason it's very slow. No. All right. Anyway, let's take a quick look at the SPYs. S&P cash. Before I left, right when I was leaving, everyone was getting a little bearish. Okay. And actually, I remember I put on 2 VIX call spreads just to have for August 16th and October 16th, just in case, just in case, right? Just in case this move from the March 23rd lows got a little tired up here and it didn't want to get back up to 33.44. So basically, I put on 2 VIX call spreads, which, I risked what I wanted to risk is insurance just in case, I guess, COVID cases rise, something happens with China. I don't know. Whatever they want to make the narrative on why the market would go down. And then right on this day, is when we kind of broke the 8-day moving average. So sometimes you break a moving average, you reduce some risk, and then you put the onus on the other side of the trade. And what happened here? You had a little downside follow through, but here we did. Basically all week long, I tweeted out, I'm like, as long as we hold 3190, 3200, you can't get too bearish. As long as we hold 3190, 3200, you can't get too bearish. What happened? We held that the entire week, and then at the end of the day or midday Friday, when they tried to sell everything else besides Amazon and Apple and Facebook, and then they didn't go down, everything started to rally, and now we closed pretty strong. So, if you look here, going sideways, you have another mid-level channel that seems like if it wants to break to the upside, it can. We've had a lot of these active sequences during this entire rally. I'm not going to get into them right here. I'm not really, I was supposed to be home at 5 o'clock. I was coming here for 45 minutes and everyone caught me on the virtual trade floor. But overall, active sequence once. It was then, on the bears to have some power. We came in, that wound up going sideways. This is when most people say we're going back to retest this level or that level, and the way the Red Dog Russell buy, gap up sideways, took out this resistance, ascending channel, came back, retested the prior resistance that turns into support, came back up. They had another chance right here, and then they had another chance on this little day right there. Now, it looks interesting here. Looks like we're going sideways, and we have a jobs report Friday. A lot of the earnings have been coming in, even though the expectations have been lowered, they've been coming in above them. So what do you have here? 32.79. In order to get to 33.28 or 33.93, what do you have to get above? Let's make it simple. 32.79. We'll see. In order for a move down to 31.15, what do you got to get below? 3200. And as of right now, on Friday, the bulls took control in the end of the day. So that being said, we'll see how that goes. If you look here at the Qs, that's not the Qs. Overall, you had a few different ways to maneuver this upper range. You had this outside day, if you remember that. I remember I was at the Perez Golf outing for charity. It was a way to sell some strength, and if you did, you were able to buy a dip into support. Came back up, a little lower high, came back down, kind of retested that area, went a little bit below, and then went sideways last week before pushing higher. So now what does this look like? This just looks like an upper consolidation with a lot of micro ways to use the tier system. And as at this point, is this going to turn into a lower high here? I don't know. Looks more constructive than bearish. And what you have to do is you have to turn off a lot of the news circuits. You can't watch the news all weekend long. What you'd rather watch is maybe some Netflix, have a few beers, hang out with your family, go for a run, feed your brain, and not obsess about things you can't control. You control what you can control. That's the way it's been for the last 3-4 months. Everyone wants to say why the market shouldn't go up, and technically the market acted fantastic. And all you had to do is be in the strong stocks above the 8-21 day. You don't have to be in the laggards. Okay, but anyway, for now, we'll see what happens with tech. Obviously, it's 419. We have no idea what the futures are going to do. And you can make it very simple for next week. As long as it stays above 260.85, well, you can't get too bearish. So that's like the simplified version, right? 260. Well, maybe you could even 260. As long as the Qs hold 260, which is above this area, which was the 256 area, maybe you go inside for a little bit and then perhaps it goes again. But again, you can't get too bearish if that doesn't break. So anyway, so here we are in the Qs. The banks don't look horrible, but it's not something to focus on. What do I mean? Well, it's been going sideways. The banks actually had some decent numbers when they reported. They just didn't act well. But I guess as long as it holds 23.75 in the XLF, you can't get too bearish. Going sideways, market needs to broaden out probably, for the S&P to get above, the levels we just talked about. The small caps don't look horrible, but again, if you're just focusing on these, you can't. You have to have them as the bottom, third of your go-to list. This is going sideways also, kind of above the moving averages. Obviously, you have the S&P filling this gap from when we broke down all the way up here. So the small caps are a lot weaker than the S&P. And then you have the Qs that have made higher highs a bunch of times. So where do you want to focus if you're a bull or an active bull type trader like I am, or I'd love to be? My favorite thing to do is have 15 positions, use a tier system, let things verse levels, sit in them, and then when they break above bull flags or channels or whatever level it is, I add to them and they go. I love the all-time high 52-week high trade because something that breaks above it with volume usually gets you a little follow through. So when I'm looking for situations, I'm looking for very strong ones that have constructive technical patterns. And when the market starts to get faulty and when all of a sudden we get a little bit of a brushback pitch, which we've had a few times, I reduce some risk. I try and figure it out, and then we see if we rebuild and go again. And it's happened many different times. If you look at the Qs right here, this was a brushback pitch. Right here, the bear said, you're a little extra excited. You're extended from the 8-day and the 21-day. You better take a quick refresh. And then what happened? We refreshed, and then it took out this small little level, and then the bears had a chance to make a lower high, which is what they did. Then we came back in, held again, held where we had to, and then went sideways again, went up again. So every time the bears, have a little bit of hope, the active bulls take over. And the active bulls have basically been in control ever since here. Right here, this gap up. You could have been trying to time the bottom in March. You didn't even have to. Right here is when you had this pro gap that took back the moving averages, and then it held here, it held here, it held it here again, it held here. So this trend has been to the upside. So until that breaks, try not to overthink it and overdo it. And then you have names. Look at this Apple. Woo! What a fantastic move. So we'll see you now. Everyone's like, what do we do now with Apple? Well, you could be long verse 403, takes out 425.66, you add to it. Hopefully it goes inside for a few days and then goes, but the way it closed on Friday, it probably opens up. Amazon looks a little bit different. Amazon, if you didn't buy it or have a call spread on like me, you basically couldn't make any money trading it really. So now the question is, does it hold 31.51 or not? So that'll be a pivot for this week, 31.51. Does Amazon hold 31.51? So we have to see how it opens, obviously, tomorrow. Does it hold this gap here? Typically Jeff likes to sell a portion of his shares a day or two after earnings because volume's high, and he has to fund his space program, or maybe his wife, who he divorced, is also selling some shares. That's why I personally think he should split it. If he split his stock 10 for 1, on the announcement, it probably goes from 31.50 through the all-time high of 33.45 or 33.44. So you hear Amazon stock split, which probably doesn't happen. I'm just saying, you could be a buyer up to 31, 344, and then chances are, it would split a lot higher than this, and then within no time, it'll just probably, if it split at 400, it would be at 1,000 in a year from now, and 1,000 on a 10-for-1 stock split. Do the math, you know what the price is. So everyone's like, Red Dog, you could buy fractions of shares, you could buy this, you could buy that. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It's the perception of price. Not a lot of people are going to buy Amazon at 31.51, but at 350 or 400, I know it's the same market cap. People are like, Red Dog, Apple, if you have $1, now it's 4 quarters. It's the same price. 4 quarters is a dollar. I'm like, no. Retail sees Apple, wind up splitting 4 for 1 down to 125. Chances are they're like, okay, we're 130. The stock's going to be 200. And no one's going to remember where it was. They've done this many times. So stock splits on the best stocks in the world are fantastic, especially if you know how to trade it when it's announced and how it happens. Now for Amazon, I would think, why wouldn't they split it? Because they're like a blimp. They're 31.50. The government, all they want to do is attack them for monopolies or because they make too much money and they want to get paid or whatever it is. So all of a sudden, the perception of Amazon of 400 or 500, maybe they don't take as much heat. That's just my small thoughts, and I'm rambling. Shouldn't be rambling on a Sunday, right? Anyway, someone was like, hey, so Amazon, we'll see how it goes for this week. This is your point of reference, 31.51. Does Amazon hold 31.51, or does it get choppy and make its way down to the moving averages and fill this gap? We'll see. We'll see how it opens up, and we'll see how the futures open up. But sometimes you can make a lot of money the day after earnings by just sitting in a swing trade Versa level. Like if you bought Apple 5 minutes into the trade when it made it slow, you could have made good money on Friday, and now you have a point of reference to sit in if it's going to stay special and hold that. So that's that. So the way I would be looking at Amazon now, you could be depending on if it opens below, who knows what the futures again are going to do. If it opens below 31.51, does it reclaim it? If it opens it above, can you be long versus it? And then at some point, will it take out 32.46, which is still, well below, the all-time high here. So does it hold this and hold the gap? That's how you look at this moving forward as an active trader. Gave you really no reason to be excessively long on Friday if you were an active trader and you didn't go long into the earnings print. I had a call spread that worked out pretty well. Facebook also, if you do this now, this is your long-term channel. Absorbed all the news of everybody leaving it. You now have your 249, which is your pivot, your earnings pivot, right? That's the low here. So you can be long versus 249. And at some point, if it takes out 256, you could play it for momentum. So that's what we'll see. If all of a sudden it breaks below 249, then it's a different trade. Then it gets choppier and you have to figure it out. Google, I also had a call spread on. This one I had a great one on. It wasn't special. At this point, it's going to take time. This is not going to be as good as the other ones. So some things post-earnings need to rebuild. Some things will need more time at this point. This is, for me, is going to be like a no trade for a little while as it rebuilds. Yeah, it did a little. Some guys like, hey, Red Dog, it did a Red Dog reversal, went below this prior pivot, came back above. But at this point, Google needs time. Google is lagging anyway. Google has not been a great trader. I tried playing it through this spot, a while back, and and then it did the breakout failure or whatever. Google has just been tougher. Some guys are asking me, how am I gonna approach Tesla now, because earnings are out of the way. It's been a week or two. It's been consolidating, a little lethargic. If I was here, actually, I don't know what I would have done on Friday because it did act weak, and I know SpaceX had its successful, come back to Earth, whatever it is. So anyway, if you look at Tesla now, by the way, Tesla's been my #1 stock for the past 9 months. I've made more money in Tesla than any other name. Selling puts, selling calls, buying the stock, playing breakouts. It's been fantastic. All the way back from here. I'm not even going to get into that. But anyway, now, that was then, this is now. It always is an active trader. That is then, this is now. Why? because usually most traders get paid for the month. Okay, now it's August 2nd. Oh, look at that, August 2nd. So July is behind you. So hopefully you get paid for July and you did very well, and now you got to do it all over again in August. You have to figure out all new strategies to make money, net cash flow, stay disciplined, work on your process. Again, you don't have to be perfect to make progress, and love your routine so you do it every day. So it's a new month. I personally get paid quarterly because I'm the chief strategic officer. I have like 5 different accounts. Just for accounting, they'd be pissed off if they always had to figure out how to pay me more. Anyway. So now, if you're not in Tesla and you're not an investor and you haven't owned it, everyone on TV's, oh, it's up X% for the year, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but if you bought it late and didn't sell it right, you didn't make much money. So now with Tesla, it did break this inside wedge on Friday. Okay, you can look here. It did break it. Yes, it did. Okay, so there were probably some people that did get stopped out. I wasn't in it when it broke below whatever this was. This was 1471. If I was at work and I was in Tesla, I would have probably been stopped out when it broke below 1471 and showed some relative weakness. So that is right here. Okay, I made a low of what? A low of 1420. So right now, what I say, this is in like no man's land, where it's kind of hard to figure out. Yeah, it's because again, you need points of reference and you need to you need to quantify your risk. So we don't know how it's going to open up on Monday, so we shall see. What I was kind of thinking to myself is, if they do get included in the S&P, it could be a month, it could be 3 months, it could be in a week, I don't know. I kind of want to be involved for that trade. This is your high. Some guys are like, hey, Red Dog, that's the high of the year. I'm like, that's a guess, Or someone said, hey, Red Dog, Tesla's going to 2,500 this year. I'm like, okay, that's a guess. In order to get to 2,500, what does it have to get through? 1794, and it also has to get through 1675 and 1689 first. And for those who say, hey, Red Dog, it's overvalued, this is crap, it's going back to 1,000. If it's going to go back to 1,000, it's going to have to break below 1420, 1366, 1266, and 1185. So I'm going to let the points of reference lead the way actively, but I'm also going to deal with it week by week with options because there's a hell of a lot of premiums and there's a lot of ways to make money. So for Tesla, what I'm probably going to do, I got to see how it opens up on Monday because I haven't been in it for a week. I would think if you're pretty sophisticated, we got to figure out where it opens as far as the stock's concerned. I think you could probably, here's the 50-day. If it gets below 1225, the trade is different. For momentum, usually it's really the 8 and the 21 day. And right now, it's not below. I lost the 21 day. I don't know why that's not on there. But anyway, you could say it's 1366. If it breaks and holds below 1366, the momentum trade is kind of over, and then it's in a basing process, and it's not the top of the A list. But we'll see. But anyway, I kind of think it's going to hold the 50-day, which is 12 and a quarter. So what I think we could do this week, perhaps, is sell the $1,200 puts, or maybe go 2 weeks out. Sell the $1,200 puts because down to 1,200, which is 600 points below the high. Even if it gets there, you have to prepare to buy that, then buy it there. And then maybe buy a call spread, and you could fund it by selling the puts. What would I sell? Well, what kind of call spread would I buy? Well, maybe, this is one pivot. You could buy the 1550s and sell the 1800s. Okay, that's probably, if all of a sudden it gets in the S&P 500 and they don't announce an offering to fund other gigafactories, maybe it goes up huge and you want to be in it. If it's untradeable and you don't want to miss the gap up. So you could buy the 1550s, sell the 1800s, and sell the 1200s to help finance it. That could be a way to have options around it, which I don't think is too risky. Worst case scenario for that is if it had some kind of craziness and went below 1200 or 1225, then you have to own it there, which if you're long term, it doesn't matter. And then also see, hey, if it opens below 1420, you could buy the stock if it reclaims it. If it opens up because of SpaceX did, had a good weekend, then it would be like a bear trap if it were to take out this spot right here, because I'm sure there are some active traders that are short who are hoping for maybe a lack of success over the weekend. And this is 1517. So Anyway, I got here at 3 o'clock. I was only supposed to be here for 20 minutes. So I got to go home and barbecue and do a few things. I was just trying to check out the virtual trading floor 2.0, make sure I could log in tomorrow morning at 6 in the morning, make sure my charts work, make sure I could do my morning call video. I could get my note out to my editor by 8 o'clock so he could make it pretty because my grammar's not great. And then I could do my morning call video, and then I could post my charts, and then we could listen to some music and get situated. So at 9 o'clock, I could get ready to trade and re-engage. Usually when you come back from vacation, you want to start off slow because you're not exactly sure what the movement looks like, the speed. It's also going to be August. Not a whole lot going on between now and probably the jobs report on Friday or the claims on Thursday. We just had, the heartbeat of the market report last week, which, was mixed but more upbeat than downbeat, and, we'll see how it unravels. So each day I'll be back. I'll try and do my little 6:30 meeting for the public Twitter sphere. I'll be doing all my content for Red All Access on the virtual trading floor as well. And, it's August. So if you're going to be here, just know what you're doing. If you're going to be here and not be on the beach or in the mountains, you still got to be prepared. You can still make money over the summer. Like, guys just like, I can't make money over the summer. I'm like, you know why? Because you're at the beach for the day and you're coming back and you have no idea what happened. You're taking a few days off here and there, and then you're not watching what's in play, and you don't know where the relative strength is. You don't know where the market's rotating. So, yes, you can't make money over the summer because you're not as prepared as you are maybe in October and November. So if you're going to be here, you have to have the same process, the same routine. You have to be just as prepared, and you can make good money. You just have to lower your expectations for the summer. If you're going to be away, go away. You had a fantastic first half of 2020, which, knock on wood, I'm not going to lie, compliance. I had my best half a year I've had in 22 years. So compliance could find me right now if I'm lying to you. I'm not lying to you. My best half a year. And that's being here alone, trying to engage with everyone out there as much as possible. Yes, I'm the Chief Strategic Officer, and I do get paid to be a partner at T3, but I make the majority of my money trading for a living, and the people want to follow me because I'm a player on the field. So I get the same emotions, the same psychology. I don't play a trader on TV. Even though I'm on Fox Business every Monday, you can catch me at 3:05 tomorrow. But I do a little bit of everything. It helps my ADHD because I can't sit around. And when I'm not trading and I'm not doing videos and I'm not this, I'm coaching lacrosse or I'm running with Cadence. I'm doing a bunch of things which makes me happy. So hopefully whatever you're doing is making you happy. And if you had a great, 6 months and you're happy about it, great. Continue to work on it. Don't get over your skis. Don't give back money because you feel like you can. No. Sometimes the market changes and things get tighter and you can't make as much as a trader. So don't all of a sudden, because you did your best first half a year, go out and buy a different house, put on an addition, get 2 more cars. No. You know what? Maybe pay down some debt, relieve some stress. Whereas if all of a sudden things aren't as good the next half of the next year, you're not worried and stressed out, then you just get back to your average. And if this does continue, you know what? I'm getting a sauna for downstairs. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'm sorry I couldn't get the Periscope going. For some reason, my phone was scratching. And if you did watch us live on the public Twitter sphere, I can go over 50 more charts. We had so many great plays. That if you have a process and plan, Space went from 16 to 27. Peloton has gone from 25 to 70 plus. JMIA, we have a little spec, Amazon of Africa play went from 6.5 to 15. Ford was so many things. If you look for charts and you don't obsess about the news and you learn how to figure out what makes you tick, and what makes you tick is, it's different for everyone. So with that being said, thanks for tuning in on a Sunday, and I'll see you in the morning. Don't stress out about the week ahead. Just make sure you're prepared and you know how to handle it and deal with it. And wherever the future's open at 6 o'clock doesn't mean that's where they're going to be in the morning, wherever that is. Stay safe. Wear a mask when you're around people. Don't look like an idiot. The worst thing you want to do is be that guy that, everyone's close by wearing a mask and the other guy like not wearing a mask. And if you go inside, wear a mask. It's just smart. And as far as school's concerned, I'm sending Chase to school if it's open. Everyone else has their prerogative to do what they want to do. I'm hoping that this is going to be around for a while. We got to be smart and diligent, but we also have to have common sense. Use common sense. Common sense and staying in the middle is what I think is going to solve these problems. I do believe in Black Lives Matter. I believe in everyone's lives matter, and peaceful protests are great also. But rioting and looting and just stealing from innocent store owners or houses, or it's just that doesn't do anything for anyone. So if you feel like there's something out there that you want change to happen with, do it in a common sense, calm way without making damage and hurting people out there, because there are a lot of people that are getting hurt and livelihoods being ruined because of just the craziness out there. So just keep your head, keep cool, control what you can control. Be a good father, be a good husband, be a good son, be a good daughter, be a good wife, be a good husband, and around you things change. Anyway, have a good night, and I'll see you guys in the morning.